And welcome to another episode of the Six and Out podcast brought to you by Sports News Blitz. I'm Bilal, and this is the show where we talk everything cricket. Well, Dejan, we finally reached the summit of this IPL season after an intense week of playoffs. RCB are your back-to-back champions. I just want to get your thoughts. How do you feel? I bet you feel on top of the world. Back-to-back champs.
Much different to last year because last year, it was the first time, 18 years, it was so much emotion, so much passion. Whereas this time it was like, we've already done it once. So, let's just celebrate and go again. But I'm very happy with the team. I'm very happy with the performances. And all credit to the boys. All love to the boys.
Yeah, I guess the first time was so nice, had to do it twice. I guess same could be said about PSG winning the Champions League back to back as well. So maybe something in
Yeah.
the air. Maybe Argentina got back to back in the World Cup, but maybe that's me overreaching.
Maybe.
Maybe. But
I bought this along.
Then. Hey, fitting.
This
very
is the
fitting.
Yeah, back in primary school where you used to get given Star of the Year awards.
Oh yeah.
I think in year four, I got Maths Star of the Year, which I don't know why because I was never good at maths. But I got Maths Star of the Year, and I've kept it for about 11 years for this one podcast episode.
Hey, there we go. I mean, you didn't bring it out last year, but hey, you saved it for going back to back, which is obviously best case scenario. But anyway, just talking on the playoffs. RCB, they came into it as the top seed, number one rank. They came up against second place Gujarat Titans, which ultimately ended up being the final. But just on the qualifier one match, we talked about RCB's batting, and in a way, I don't know if you'd agree, but maybe RCB's batting was starting to tail off compared to the standards they've probably set themselves, especially at the start of the tournament. But they put all that to bed and they turned up when it mattered the most, scoring 250 plus and just batting Gujarat out of the game. I mean, how would you sum up RCB's bat performance in that first qualifying match?
It's hard to describe because I just think in qualifiers it's one of those where you always expect close games, but this is back-to-back years now where we've dominated in qualifier one, and I mean I'm sure we'll talk about it, but Patidar's performance in that first qualifier, that's probably the innings of the tournament, just in terms of what it meant. 93 off 33. That's ridiculous. And I just think in the situation that he was in as well, because at that point Kohli and Padikkar both just got out. There was a bit of a mini collapse, a bit of a crisis point, and I think for him to bat the way he did, get us up to 250, as I said, it just batted Gujarat out of the game. And it ensured that we won that game, and it made the bowler's job so much easier. So incredible to see a captain like that step up and lead from the front like he did with the bat.
Yeah, and in terms of selection as well, it was actually crucial that one of the top five, top six really stepped up like Patidar did, because they dropped all-rounder Romario Shepherd, which I think you probably were calling for it, for an extra out-and-out pace bowler in Jacob Duffy. So just in that sense, it was extremely crucial. But I just want to get onto the bowling because we talked about how maybe RCB were overdue in terms of this personnel change in bringing Duffy in. And Duffy really did step up, and it didn't feel like he was out of place bowling alongside Hazelwood and Bhuvneshwar as well.
Well, he's had that all tournament, If you go back to the start, he was the one he was the main overseas pace bowler until Hazelwood came back. And I think he's done such a great job in terms of when Hazelwood's... he's not had his best season, Hazelwood, but when he's not been there, you haven't felt the absence as much because of the impact that Duffy's had. So, I think he's had a very, very good tournament considering the fact that he's not a certified starter. I think the way he's grown and the way he's just bowled better and better in the power play as well. That's the key thing for RCB, our power play bowling. this tournament has been the best by far. So, yeah, I'm very, very happy with the way Duffy performed, as, of course, the rest of the bowlers as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember us talking about in the last episode that one of the keys to victory for RCB is potentially just batting Gujarat out of the game. But it was weird because Gujarat did win the toss and choose to bowl. Would you say that's a misplay on their part? Or would you just say it was just RCB who just came out all guns blazing and the Gujarat bowlers, for once, didn't have an answer?
Yeah, I'd say the second one as well. I also think, if I'm trying to also think about it from, say, Shubman Gill's shoes, he knows the top three for Gujarat is the strong suit. So he's kind of thinking, if our bowlers can do a job, Dharamsala is not the easiest of batting pitches a lot of times. So maybe restrict him to 180, 190, 200. Then, the top three can chase that down easily. And also, to be fair, there was a point where, as I said, halfway through that innings, when Holder had just gotten Kohli and Padikkal out, that maybe that was on the cards. But I just think they just got battered out of the game by how good Buddy that was. And it made the batsman's job just like impossible. So I don't think there was anything wrong with the toss decision from Gill. I just think he was trying to just get the best out of the players that he had. But unfortunately, he just fell short because someone just decided to turn up on the day, which is the most important thing in these playoffs.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And yeah, just on the second innings then, yeah, it just felt from the get-go, the constant wickets. I mean, RCB just kept on getting wickets and just putting pressure on. And that's ultimately what it came down to, because we talk about the consistency of Gujarat's top two, top three, and how reliable they are. And yes, we've had our criticisms on their strike rates, but no one could get going. And having to expose their middle order is in a way, it just became too much of a tall task so early on, and it just felt like the game was already won at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. As I said, as soon as the first ball was bowled, the first ball was bowled in the second innings, it was done, because he just knew that they were going to struggle to chase it down. But definitely, as soon as Gill and Sai Sudarshan got out, and then Josh Butler got out after getting off to a decent start, they were never going to win that game. They were already probably planning for the final eliminator. Or qualified to, sorry.
Yeah, it's true, because it speaks volumes, because 8 out of their players had single-digit scores, which just shows that if Gill and Sudarshan don't get on a roll, it's like, who is? And that proved evident. And that's probably is the reason why the margin looks so big in terms of the runs RCB won by. But RCB get a comfortable win, qualifying directly to the final like they did in 2025. And then we move on to the eliminator, which probably surprised a few, with Rajasthan going up against Sunrisers Hyderabad. And Rajasthan, I don't want to say all backs were against the wall. Yeah.
Are we going to say Rajasthan, or are we going to...
There's one man.
So Vaibhav Suryavanshi versus Sunrisers.
Yeah, that's the man. That's the man who took it away from SRH. I mean, talk to me, Dejan. How... It was so annoying him not getting 100 in the playoffs. But in this game in particular, he took the game away from Sunrisers Hyderabad.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm sure we're going to talk about him a little bit more in this case, but it's actually unbelievable for a 15-year-old to be doing this. Like, 97 off 29, he nearly broke the record. He nearly broke... Gale got 100 off 30 deliveries in the IPL. So he nearly broke the record.
One boundary away, pretty much.
I mean, yeah, exactly. Strike rate of 334. I mean,
mental.
I said in the last episode, the two key things that Rajasthan need to beat SRH is, one, they need Vaibhav to have a day out, which he did, and two, they need Jofra Archer to get the top order out, which he did. So Rajasthan's two key weapons were the reason they won the game. And I mean, the way Vaibhav's performed in this tournament, I mean, you wouldn't expect him to be a 15-year-old the way he's playing, the way he's making world-class bowlers just look average. Like, he just made, like, bowlers like Pat Cummins and stuff, they're going for 64 runs in 4 overs. Like, that's unheard of. And it's happened so often from this season because of how good he is, and how good a striker he is. Like I don't even know what to say about the talent that he is. It's just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, even like so Drew Jarrell backed it up. Rian Paraga's captain. We were waiting for captain's knock. Even if it was a short cameo, it sort of just continued that template of just accelerating and getting beyond 220, which they did comfortably. And yeah, it's like eventually just set the platform for the rest of his team, leading by example. As a 16-year-old is crazy to me, but in a way, yeah, it just made SRH bowlers look ordinary, which for the SRH attack, they haven't been ordinary, especially since they've been on this good run of form. It's their bowling that's potentially carrying them into third place in the league phase, and it's the reason why they've crashed out. I mean, talk to me about Sunrisers bowling. I guess it's a Suryavanshi show, but it just felt too predictable. It just felt the one game where they needed to continue their good form, they just threw it out the window, and it was led by, like you said, by Pat Cummins.
Yeah, it's hard to say because I think a lot of times when someone has a day out like that, you've just got to take it on the chin and say, well done. And also, you know, especially after that, especially after you get him out, it can be such a draining thing in terms of right. We've got 9 other players as well, so I think it was just one of those where Vaibhav the SRH bowlers they've had a very good tournament. The way they've turned it around, they've had a fantastic tournament. But the way Vaibhav played, and after getting Vaibhav out, it's kind of just like a thing of, oh, here we go again. We've got to bowl the rest of these guys out. So they were always going to be fighting a losing battle, especially after that innings. So I wouldn't be too critical on the SRH bowlers, but I just think maybe they might think, looking back on it, maybe they could have improved on certain things. But I'd just say, just take it on the chin and just, be grateful he didn't get more. Because the way he was batting, he could have made 200 the way he was batting. It didn't look like he was going to get out at all. So it's unfortunate, but when a player has a day out like that, you just got to just accept it.
Yeah, and similar to Gujarat's case in qualifier 1, for SRH in the chase, I mean, it was going to be a mammoth target if they were to chase it. And we've always felt if a team wants to chase a big score, it would be SRH. But it's just that their player just got out too early. I mean, Travis Head, he's not had the best tournament. I mean, he did get a few hits off Jofra Archer, but he couldn't stay at the crease. When the likes of Abhishek and even Ishan as well getting a cameo, it just felt like starts because I feel like they were there within the asking rate, sort of, but they just lost too many wickets, and it's just they couldn't have that big partnership, or someone couldn't score as big and as quick as a Suryavanshi, and ultimately that was the difference in the end.
Yeah, well, it's a hard job probably for the SRH batters in that situation because it literally is just hit out or get out, because as much as you like to say they were within the rate. They were only within the rate because they kept going for it. And sooner or later, you're going to get out. Like Vaibhav did. But a lot of times, especially if you're chasing that kind of score, you have to just keep going. And eventually a lot of their players got out. But as I say, it's a hard job in that situation because they just had to keep going. But they just ran out of batsmen, unfortunately.
Yeah, and for SRH, after losing in the final in 24, they don't make it into the final in 26. So I think overall, from an SRH perspective, like I said, it's just been a season of 2 halves, and ultimately it just fell short for them. Is that the way you see it? It's just things just crashing down at the wrong time?
Yeah, I think so. I wouldn't necessarily say crashing down. I'd say there's a lot of positives to take. There's a lot of young players in that team, I think, and they've really shined this season. I think Pat Cummins since he's come back, has led that side very well. And I think they've turned it around, especially in the bowling, because of how bad they were at the beginning with that bowling attack. And then once they kind of changed it around and it got better and it improved. So, as I said, there's not much I'd be upset about with it. If I was an SRH fan, I'd be very happy with how the squad turned it around. I think you go into next season with a lot of these younger players, and these younger players, they can't get worse. They can only get better. They might have difficult patches, but they'll still be getting better in that period. So it's very good to see a lot of young talent come through, especially in that team. And yeah, they might maybe go into the auction next year, sort out maybe a few things, and you never know. They might have an opportunity next year.
Yeah, not meant to be for Sunrisers Hyderabad as they crash out in the eliminator. And moving on to the qualifier 2 match, which was between Gujarat, who lost in qualifier 1, against Rajasthan, who progressed. And they matched up and... Sorry, go on.
Again, are we going to say Rajasthan? Or are we just going
to... Exactly, it was a one-man show.
Really?
But I do want to focus on Gujarat and Shubman Gill because... I was worried for them, given that Rajasthan set a target of around 220, and I thought, oh gosh, Gujarat in the chase above 200. But credit to them, and credit in particular to Shubman Gill, who got his first IPL 100 this season in an exceptional knock to, which was strange because it felt like the Rajasthan bowlers from the eliminator didn't turn up in the game against Gujarat.
Yeah.
Would you say that was the ultimate difference?
Yeah, I'd say so because I think Gujarat's bowling was much better in the first innings compared to Rajasthan's bowling in the second innings. But I mean, to be fair, the thing with Shubman Gill is he's just a class player. Like that's probably one of the most elegant hundreds you'll see, especially in the IPL, because he does that. He has the knack of doing that where he may bat. Like, some people may look at it and think, oh, maybe he's not like built for T20 cricket. But when he gets it right in this format, he just makes batting look like the easiest thing in the world. I mean, strike rate of 196, so nearly 200, and he only hit 3 sixes. So it shows you, the rest of it were just boundaries. But I don't remember him playing a false shot in that innings because of how good it is. And it just, as I said, it shows you how good a player Shubman Gill is. And it shows you what a player he can be in this format. You just hope that he takes this confidence going forward. And as I said, if he does that, there's not a player in India that can match him in terms of his quality. It's all about for him finding it in the national team in this format. But in the IPL, he shows it time and time again. He's such a class player, and he's such a joy to watch when he bats like that.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. And on the flip side, one person who seems to have nervous 90s, the 16-year-old himself, Vaibhav Suryavanshi. I mean, I was just rooting for him to get that 100, and I just had a feeling he'd get out, and he did. And it's always the worst feeling when you want someone to get 100 and they just don't. But I mean, for him to sort of carry the bat essentially with Rajasthan and to get them within a fighting chance, I mean, kudos to him to sort of put in 2 good back-to-back knocks to make this Rajasthan team believe, essentially, until Shubman Gill came along.
It was really nice to see him because everyone's probably associated him in this tournament with just going after the bowling, swinging hard, not blind slogging, but just go. But that innings was kind of a bit more watchful, a bit more conservative. He knew and understood the situation that, okay, other players are getting out. If I get out now, I'm in trouble. So, I'm just going to just tone it down a bit more. I mean, we're saying this like it's a bad thing, but he's got to the point now where a strike rate just over basically 205 strike rate in that innings. For Suryavanshi standards, that's bad. Like that says all you need to know.
That's just the standard he set.
Exactly. But that was a really good innings to watch because it showed that he's still growing as a player. Because he's not just blind slogging, he was so much more watchful in that innings because he needed to be. And that was really nice to see a young player just grow and kind of gain a bit more maturity in. So, yeah, I mean, he's had an outstanding tournament. He's just a freakish talent. And, I mean, the sky's the limit for what he can achieve. There's no doubt about that. So we'll see. We'll have to see what happens with him.
India do tour Ireland and England for T20s this summer. Is he poised to be in the India squad?
Sure.
What's your take on it?
I think I'd say so. I'd say so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so. I think it's a weird one because like when you see a player like this and a player who's this like young, there's some players like I go back to it like I talk about Tendulkars and stuff like that, where they're so young and they come in and you just know they're going to become something. What I'll say about him is, it's kind of a situation where India can't put too much expectation on him and say he has to become this. He has to become like the next Tendulkar. He has to, score a whole heap of runs in Test cricket and things like that. Let him develop on his time. And the thing I'll say to him, ensure you have the right people around you, because if he, takes his eye off the ball even a little bit, he won't be the same player. He just needs the right people around him to keep him grounded. And as I said, if he does that, then who knows what he can become? He can become something. I said India haven't seen a talent like this since Tendulkar. So we'll have to wait and see what he can become. But right now, the sky is the limit for the kid.
Yeah, and you talk about being in good hands, and there's probably no better hands than being under the mentorship of Kumar Sangakkara, the Rajasthan coach. Him being a flamboyant left-hander himself, it's almost like the perfect sort of cricket father, if you want to call it, in terms of him wanting to develop and grow and become this sensation, which he already is, which is crazy to think. But to elevate and take it to the next level, like you said, he's got time on his side. There's absolutely no rush with this kid, and it just feels
100%.
like. It just feels like the next big thing, especially from India, has definitely arrived in terms of batting talent in this country, in that country. But yeah, for Rajasthan, then just the end of the road then for them, and it's been weird with Rajasthan because like we've mentioned, it has been a sort of a stop-start season where towards the middle they felt like they were losing their way, but then they picked up this good run of form, and ultimately it wasn't enough to be. I'd say a consistent Gujarat side.
Yeah, I mean, if Rajasthan had gone through and got to the final, I think people would be saying they wouldn't be talking about the team; they'd just be talking about one player.
Yeah,
and it's kind of been like that all season, which is a problem. So I think there's been some good performers there. Obviously, Archer's been outstanding with the ball. I think Dhruv Jurel's really made that number 3 position his own. It's really good to see him back in form. I think Rian Parag, Donovan Ferreira's obviously had a good season, especially at the back end, finishing off games. I think Rian Paraga's grown as the season's gone on as a captain. As a batsman, it's not been great, but I still think he's been injured, so it's not been as easy with the bat. But I think as a captain, he's grown, he's gotten better. And sometimes when you have tournaments where you have like a bit of an up and down period, it can be a good thing, especially for a young captain, because it means that you start to understand a lot more about the game, you start to read a lot more about the game. And I think that is what he's learned a lot from this season. And I think they'll be better off for it next year. The thing that I think they need to do is just sort that middle order out from number 5 to number 7. I think that's been the problem. There's been too much chopping and changing in that position because no one's in form. So if they get that right in the auction, along with the top 5 they have, then I think they'll be much better off for it, and especially with the bowling attack as well. So there's positive signs with the Rajasthan. There's just a few things that need a bit of tweaking.
Yeah, just my take on it. I just think, I think Parag in particular, he was very much a tweaker at the start of the season. Like he was having 8 bowlers bowl in one innings, and even in the last match, Jadeja got promoted to number 4, which I actually didn't mind. But I feel like next season, I feel like it is better just to have set players in set positions because we feel like that can go south having sort of
100%.
I don't mind having a flexible batting order, but when you overdo it, that's when it shows and teams expose you for it. So I feel like I don't want to say sky's the limit, but I feel like talent is the limit for this team in terms of just getting it right and maybe a few experienced heads just in that middle order, as you say, just to assure this Rajasthan side.
Yeah, well, the thing you said about Jadeja, I actually don't mind if Rajasthan bat him higher up because I think in the last year and a half, especially in international cricket, I think Jadeja's become a batting all rounder in the last year and a half. If you actually look at him playing in like India, and he played in the Champions Trophy last year, and when he went to England, Jadeja was one of India's best batsmen at that point. And Gambhir was kind of using him as like the number 6 player. So I think I think Jadeja's actually better off now as a batsman than he is as a bowler. So I would definitely be looking to push him a bit more. Push him in that number 4, number 5 position. And I think especially with the fact that Hitmeyer, who's not scored any runs this season, and he was their number 5. I think Jadeja's a more than capable number 5 in my opinion, especially in this format. Because I said I think he's grown so much as a batsman in the last year and a half that people now are talking about Jadeja more as a batsman than they are as a bowler. So I think it's a good shout if they put Jadeja higher up, in my opinion.
Yeah, positive signs for the Rajasthan team, but not meant to be. They finished third. Still haven't won since 2008. But we move on to the final. Yeah. The rematch from Qualifier 1, RCB against Gujarat once again. They faced each other for the 4th time this season, which is crazy to think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and RCB have probably won the 2 most important ones anyway. But yeah, talk to me about the final. I mean, how were you feeling before it? How were you feeling when you saw sort of the lineups and how the toss went down? And just give your thoughts ahead of what was a crucial game for both teams, the decider.
Well, I'm always nervous going into a game like this, especially a final, because you always fear the worst, obviously. I'm stunned that Patidar won the toss because I can't remember the last time a team that I like in a final actually won a toss. I can't remember the last time that ever happened. I thought for sure we were going to be batting. We'd have lost the toss and batting first again, but he won the toss. Crazy, and yeah, it was weird because before the game, everyone was saying on the pitch that they were using in Ahmedabad, they were saying it would be like a batter's like feast. Like the batters would just tee off and they'd dominate. And then, and maybe it's because RCB just bowled very well on the day, but it looked nothing like it. Like the batsmen really struggled. And again, it might just be because RCB bowled extremely well. And yeah, it was a weird one. It was a weird one, especially, after the first couple of overs went for about 30, and I was like, okay, this might be a bit of a, this could be an interesting this could be an interesting first innings. But then as soon as we got the 2 openers out, it's what we've said about Gujarat all season. They just fell apart. They couldn't get any partnerships going. They couldn't get any, big hits going. As I said, RCB just bowled outstandingly well and fielded very well, and just completely restricted Gujarat to a score which they were always going to struggle to chase down, as good as their bowling lineup is.
Yeah, I agree. If in a way, it just felt like they stumbled to 155, and that was down to RCB's pace attack.
Yeah.
And as a collective in particular, and I know we mentioned likes of Bhuvneshwar, Hazelwood, but one unsung hero has been Rasik Salamdar, who's in the playoffs as a whole. He picked up 5 wickets in total, 3 in the final as well. I mean, in terms of stepping up, it was like RCB's batters really stepped up in that qualifier 1, and it was the bowlers who really stepped up in the final. I mean, I know the bowlers stepped up in qualifier 1 as well, but if you know what I mean, in terms of setting the tone, both departments really did their job essentially. Both times.
Yeah, Rasik's it's crazy with him because a year ago when we picked him up, I was looking at him. I was like, what is he? I don't really know what he is, and I had the same kind of problem with Akashdeep when we first had him. I was like, I don't quite know what he is. I didn't know whether he was an opening bowler or like a death bowler or a middle overs bowler. And last year he only played 2 games, but he went for quite a few runs, and not that I wrote him off completely. I just didn't see what he was, so I didn't see it. And then full credit to the management for the fact that they stuck with him, they kept hold of him, and it was always going to be a tough season for us, especially with the absence of Yash Dayal. and he's filled that spot amazingly. 19 wickets in a season for a young player especially is outstanding, and his economy rates have not been that. His economy rates have been very good as well. Economy rate of 6.8 in the final, and you take 3 wickets. That's a sensational bowling performance. So it's one where you have to praise, as I said, not only the player, but you have to praise the coaching as well, because they were very, very important in terms of sticking with him when I think a lot of people did write him off. But he's repaid their faith, and he's been outstanding. And seems like a really, really, really good young player.
Yeah, to shine in the final, figures I think of 3 for 27 in his 4 overs to be better than the likes of Bhuvneshwar, Hazelwood, Duffy in a final is outstanding. And as you mentioned, it's the trust of the management to back this guy to sort of come to his own. And he's in a way that final he probably repaid the faith that the management and the coaches have put in him. And just the thing. I just think this RCB team in general. I think the reason why they're champions is just this collective unity they have. I think even when games have gone a little bit south, or moments in games where it's not been as to their standard or as to their plan, they're happy to just roll on and move on, stick with their guys, stick to their guns, make the necessary changes without overdoing it like some teams, and ultimately it's the consistency which delivers a championship.
Yeah, that's where you have to look at the backroom staff. I think, and Andy Flower and I think Mo Babbitt and DK, they have their team. They don't go away from the structure of the team. They stick with the players and they back the players, and they also what they also do is make sure that, especially on the field, if you're playing or if you're not playing, you're on it, and you're always going to be, like look at. Perfect example of that is Venkatesh Iyer. Didn't play at the start of the season. Everyone was saying, maybe, I don't know, because he paid a decent amount of money for him. Maybe it's kind of a thing of, if he's not going to play, what's he going to do? Gets his opportunity right at the end, makes the most of his opportunity, and that's happened with so many players over the last 2 years. So this management and this coaching is just sensational in terms of managing the players, getting the best out of players, and making sure that even if they're not playing, they're still hungry. They're still ready to go again and win again and get an opportunity. So this management has just been superb since they came in, and full credit to them. Yeah, it's amazing to see as an RCB fan so many players doing so well.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the batting, and even though it's a modest target Gujarat set, you still have to chase it down. And immediately, you mentioned Venkatesh Iyer. He set the tone alongside probably the chase master himself, Virat Kohli, unbeaten again on 75 not out. I mean, we can't have enough words to describe this. Like the way it just looks so casual to him. Just the cheeky 75 in the final, done it in the T20 World Cup, doing it in IPL. I mean, I'm running out of words to describe him, and I think what it is, it's like, I know we have like guys who go 100 miles an hour like a Suryavanshi, but with Kohli, it's just the elegance, the flair, just the control and the composure he has at the crease. I think that's what sets him apart, and the fact that he's still going at his age, still in this team for 18 years, 19 years, it feels like, and it feels like now he's finally reaping the rewards. Yeah, he's reaping the rewards for all the hard work and effort he's put in.
Yeah, I mean, it was a weird one because I just thought to myself, 155. A part of me kind of just thought we were gonna kind of just maybe not like just be a bit more defensive, just kind of be watchful at the beginning. They've got an outstanding bowling attack. Just be quite watchful. Don't try and like throw wickets away. And then before I know it, after 3 overs, we're nearly at 50. And Venki and Kohli just got us off to a flyer. And Kohli, I remember he hit Rabada for I think like 18 runs off his first over, off his like second over. And to do that to the guy who took the most wickets, that's like a statement of, right, we're not backing down here. Like, It might be a low score, but we're just going to go for it. And I think what he did really well was, especially after we lost a couple of wickets in the middle, where I think RCB fans were like a bit worried that maybe we might cause a collapse. Him and Tim David just kind of calmed it down a bit and said, we're still here, we're still going. And then I just think once it got to the point where we had the game there, when we won the game pretty much, he just teed off at the end. So, yeah, I mean, he's a sensational player. I mean, it's incredible to see what he's done, especially for this 4 years. And, he's struggled a lot, but I just think the way he's come back has been outstanding. And as you said, he's reaping the reward finally for a long time of just dedication to this franchise.
Yeah, he ended up finishing 4th in terms of the Orange Cap leaderboard with 675 runs.
Yeah.
And yeah, he slotted in nicely there because it's almost like he's surrounded by like the next generation. You look at the top 3, Vaibhav Suryavanshi at the top with 776, winning the Orange Cap at 16, which I feel like that's immense in itself. And then, you got guys like Gill and Sudarshan there as 2nd and 3rd, which they would have been disappointed not to sort of, or one of them will be disappointed not to be the top scorer for this season. But it almost feels like Kohli he's been passing the mantle down for these young guys. And within that, he's always there. He's always up there. So it just goes to show the longevity and consistency he's shown.
I mean, I think he said something. He said it after in like the post-match interview where he got player of the match, obviously, and he was doing his obviously you get asked questions and stuff. And I remember he said something which I think just symbolizes the kind of player that he is. And it was all these kind of young players around me. I look at them and I think to myself, how can I get better? And that shows you, even at his age, that mentality is still there. And it's been there the entire time. And, last year it was kind of like a thing of, I think all that emotion and everything he's given to the franchise to finally win one, it was almost like all the emotion got to him. This year, he just looked like a completely different animal. Just the way he was kind of like, there wasn't really much emotion after he won it. It was almost like, we did it again. And now next year we're going to do something hopefully that has never been done before. And if anyone can do it, and if anyone can lead this team to do that, it is him. Because of, he may be getting older, but that mentality, his fitness, it's still at the top of its game. So there's a lot of people that could learn a lot from Kohli in terms of what he stands for, what he represents, and just who he is, which is probably the greatest not probably in my opinion, the best white ball player that ever lived.
Yeah, and just on the opposite front, Kahisa Rabada, probably the worst outing he's had all season. He did actually end up getting the purple cap with the 1 wicket he took. Figures of 1 for 44 of 3, and just about tipping Booby as well. And to be fair, that race was quite tight because no one quite reached 30, but it was essentially neck and neck in that final. Maybe RCB, they're having words. Yeah. They probably do not get out to Rabada, but in the end, despite the final, I just want to talk about Kahisa Rabada because it was a sensational tournament. Whereas it feels like he's sort of struggled in the IPL in other franchises recently. But to come into this Gujarat team and to be the spearhead of what probably the best bowling attack of the season, it's rewarding and it's very fitting for a bowler like Kahisa Rabada to win the purple cap.
This is what I will say. It's been a weird tournament for pace bowling because everyone always talks about especially now in modern day T20 cricket and stuff. You look at Bumrahs, you look at Arshdeeps. It's all about either swing or variation. And yet the best pace bowlers in this IPL have been the ones that have hit the line lengths, that have hit the deck hard, run in, bowl quickly, and just hit the line and just kind of hit line and length. Look at Siraj, look at Rabada, look at Jofra Archer, look at Bhuvi, look at Jason Holder, Prasidh Krishna. I've named a lot of Gujarat bowlers there, but it's because there's so many of them. But it shows you how good a tournament it's been for kind of pace bowling. and like bowlers that are just hitting the deck hard, because it's not been the best of tournaments for bowlers that have kind of had variations. You look at like the likes of Bumrah and Arshdeep and others, they've struggled quite a bit. But yeah, Rabada's had a sensational tournament. To take 29 wickets is incredible. But he's not really done it like bowling variations or anything like that, or swinging it. It's just been his pace and running in and hitting the deck. Archer's the same. So that's an interesting trend that I've seen in this tournament.
I think it is players who just utilize the new ball really well, and Rabada is essentially an expert at that. And to have the trust of Gill, of Rabada and Siraj bowling 3 overs each in the power play, and I know it's not worked at times, as particularly in the final, but yeah, it just feels like if your best bowler can give you 3 overs and get the ball to talk for the power play, it can put your team at an advantage in terms of restricting teams and bowling, setting yourself up for the rest of the bowling innings. So, yeah, I feel like he just used the power play really well, and yeah, it's almost all that sort of seamish deliveries on a length. It's been the recipe for the pace bowlers, but I don't want to downplay Bhuvneshwar's stats too much because he actually has played a game less, given that Gujarat had to play the extra game.
Yeah,
and his best economy out of the sort of the top rankings with economy 7.95, and we talk about Kohli's longevity. Bhuvneshwar's longevity has been probably just as immense from a bowling perspective, and for him to come into this RCB team and slot right in for a couple of years now, would you sort of say he's been sort of the key factor for the reason why they've now won back-to-back titles?
1,000%, like guaranteed.
Yeah.
This is going back to 2016, 2017 Bhuvneshwar Kumar, where he's just got the ball on a string. Like you're not going to be able to play him. You know, his economy rates are ridiculous. At the age that he's at, to have economy rates of 7.95, when bowlers, when everyone's said for so long that, oh, Bhuvi's not the same bowler he once was, no one talks about, Bhuvi's not as good a bowler as he was. But he's come into this RCB team and he's just slotted in as someone who can give you 2 or 3 up top and then back you at the death. And he's done both jobs flawlessly. And 28 wickets in one tournament. He's been RCB's player of the tournament. And in my opinion, and again, I might be biased with this, I think he should have been player of the tournament because I think, look at some of his performances throughout the season. The 4 wickets he took at Mumbai, performance in the final. He's consistently taken like two wickets every game. It's unbelievable to watch. And on top of that, I mean, he had the moment of the IPL, in my opinion. Well, my moment of the IPL when he hit the 6 that won RCB the game against Mumbai. And think about it, if we'd have lost that game, we'd have lost 3 in a row. We may not be here right now. So
he could have ended up 3rd in the table. And
exactly.
having to play Eliminator, and who knows?
And having to play Vaibhav. Having to play Vaibhav again.
You avoided that bit.
Exactly. So it shows you how good he is and how much his experience has meant to this team. It's unbelievable how good he has been in this tournament. As I said, this is going back to Bhuvneshwar Kumar of 9-10 years ago. It's incredible what he has done. So yeah, full credit to him.
Yeah, I just remember him making his international debut against Pakistan. I think he bowled Mohammad Hafiz. First ball, as you mentioned, ball on the string, just whoosh, straight castle. And that is sort of like the benchmark. We talk about guys like Suryavanshi, like the benchmark in terms of the standards they play at. Yeah. That's been there for Bhuvneshwar, and it's almost as impressive him doing that today. And I don't know. The thing is, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Kohli, Bhuvneshwar in the 40s playing for RCB or playing in the IPL at a high level.
Well, you talk about like that ball he bowled to Hafiz. That was 20. I'm pretty sure that was 2011.
2011, yeah.
Yeah.
2012, I think. 2012.
Well, yeah, that was like what, nearly 15 years ago.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Ridiculous, and the fact that he's still doing it now, it's absolutely crazy. We talked about Bumrah like a couple of months ago and how good Bumrah has been for so long now for India. Bhuvi's done the same. It's just Bhuvi hasn't played international cricket in a long time. So it's unbelievable to see someone who may have not played as many games as Bumrah has, but do what he's done this year and what he did last year as well. It's like he's ageless, completely ageless.
I know I'm going on a bit of a tangent, but I always find it criminal that pace trio of Bhuvneshwar, Shami, and Bumrah never won an ICC tournament. Particularly like the 2017 Champions Trophy, 2019 World Cup.
I think that was more reflection on the batting a lot of times.
Yeah.
India's batting never turned up in finals at that point.
Anyway, back to RCB, because I know that's probably the negative subject, but you mentioned going back to back. Only 2 other teams have done that. Chennai Super Kings in 2010-11 and Mumbai Indians in 2019-20. I know it's way too early, but
I know what you're going to say.
Do you think RCB are primed to do the three-peat? The Real Madrid of the Champions League a decade ago. Can they do it?
Well, I'm going to say that it's a long way to go, and it's a very, very tough task to win 1 IPL, let alone 3. But I will say this: if any team can win 3 IPLs in a row at this point, it's this team and this coaching setup, because I don't know if you saw after the game. They were all like, yeah, we won, amazing, but there's still one more to go. There's still one more season to go. And people talk a lot about the Mumbai Indians 2020 team. They say it's one of the best T20 teams ever assembled. And it was an incredible team. And CSK, how much they dominated in the early 2010s. RCB are already standing on the shoulders of greats, winning back-to-back IPLs. If this team wins 3 IPLs in a row, there is no... And again, I don't think I'm being biased when I say this. If this team wins 3 IPLs back-to-back in a row, there is no debate, no question, this will be the greatest IPL team ever seen. Because this is, it said only 2 teams before us had gone back-to-back. No team's ever done 3 in a row.
No.
And as I said, if anyone could do it, it is this team and this coaching setup. Because they were all like, yeah, amazing, we won back-to-back, but there's still 1 more year to go. So they're already looking at next year, and they're already looking at going for 3.
Yeah.
And if they do that, as I said, for me, no questions asked, this is the greatest IPL team of all time, if they do 3 in a row.
I think what makes it more impressive is they've won it in years where there's been the impact player rule, where almost like every team is sort of stacked every game. Exactly. And compared to the 2 previous, I'm not discrediting Mumbai or Chennai back in the day, but it just feels like with the impact player rule, I don't know if that's going to stay for much longer, but whilst it's here now, that just seems to be very much more impressive in terms of getting it done. And I just want to touch on the captain, Rajat Patidar. I mean, where does he rank? Coming into this side as a young captain, I know he was a player before, but becoming captain at such a young age and sort of leading this team to glory. And you mentioned the backroom staff sort of nurturing this well-drilled machine of a team.
Yeah.
How much does it come down to Rajat Patidar, and how impressive has he been sort of leading this team to glory?
Well, I think it comes down to a lot of things, and he is obviously at the forefront of that because of his leadership. He's a very calm individual. Where he ranks on, like, I think when it comes to RCB captains, there's no debates. He's number 1 because, we waited 18 years for 1, then he's gone and won 2. Like all-time IPL captains, it's difficult to compare him with Dhoni or Rohit because he's still a young player. But
legacy, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I go back to when he first got the role as captain, and that would not have been an easy thing following on from someone like Kohli. I know Faf did it in between, but after that IPL auction, a lot of India fans were saying, and RCB fans were saying, there's not a big candidate for captain except for Kohli. So I think a lot of people were expecting Kohli to be captain, and they go with someone like Patidar. And Kohli went on social media and backed him and said, this is the guy that's going to lead us. This is the guy that we will follow. So please, fans, support him and follow him. Imagine that, how good that must be as a captain. and especially in the coaching setup as well, having your biggest name back you like that. And I think that's just given him all the confidence to just go and say, you know what, I'm going to do things my way. And he seems like a very calm player. But look at what he's done in the last year or two in terms of leading from the front. He's changed his batting kind of style to a more aggressive way and basically just said, if I'm willing to do it, you guys do it as well. And he is at the forefront of this RCB team. I know, obviously, Kohli's the biggest name. Obviously, Bhuvi's had an outstanding tournament. But it all comes from him and his captaincy and his decisions. They've given him the freedom to make the key decisions when it's needed and key parts of a game where leadership is desperately needed, and he has done it with both bat and in the field. So, yeah, he's by far and away RCB's greatest ever captain. And, as I said, if he does 3 in a row, I think there's a shout he could be on the levels of your Dhonis and your Rohits, because he seems like an incredible leader and someone who's, as I said, very calming presence, which I think you need, especially in this format.
Yeah, I think what's more impressive is at the time it wasn't like a international star-studded player like you had with Kohli and Faf du Plessis, and like you see with other captains with other franchises. That's why I always come back to the word unity, because as you mentioned, Kohli backing him and him going out and doing what RCB have been waiting for since the start of the IPL, and to deliver it again, that's definitely got to put you up there in that conversation. Just on that, then, any more words on the final or on RCB? On Gujarat, for Gujarat, I just wanted to say, as consistent as they were, it just felt like they didn't have the firepower that they looked like they wanted to win the title. If that makes sense. I know I even said it in the last episode. It just felt like they're there because I feel like more teams have been worse than they've been great. I know that may be a bit harsh, but it just felt like RCB may have been 1 or 2 levels above Gujarat, especially in the final.
If I was, they were definitely levels above Gujarat in that final. But if I was judging Gujarat's season, I'd say bowling wise, there's not much that needs improving on. That bowling attack is sensational, and to be fair, they made a pretty good game out of chasing 155. So that bowling attack is sensational. The batting just needs. I'm not saying it needs to change. I'm just saying there needs to be a stop in terms of the amount of reliance they have on the top 3, because you've seen it after that final. As soon as Gill and Sudarshan go, and then Butler obviously didn't play as well in the final, but as soon as those 2 go, you're looking around saying who's going to score the runs for me, who's going to get this innings going. They need to sort that out in terms of getting players who can actually start to the point where if Gill and Sudarshan don't score runs and they get out early, they need someone to rebuild that. And Washington Sunday's done a decent job at that, but he's still not there in terms of he's still not the finished product as a batsman. So they need to sort that out, I think, for next season and for the future as well. The top 3 is sensational, but they need to work on the middle order to try and help that team and benefit that team as much as possible.
I guess it's a good sign for Gill or on the management in particular, that yes, they've got to a final, but there is still signs that they can be a better and greater team. And yeah, you mentioned it is that middle order, which has been the gaping concern all season.
Yeah, I think as well on Shubman Gill, and I don't know if this is a bit harsh stuff, but I'd like to see him do more in finals. I'd like to see him do more in finals, because I just think. Yeah. I just think he's been in. I think this was his 5th IPL final, and he's only won 1 of them. And I think he's not gotten as many high scores. I think he got a 50 in the first final, but that was off about 40 deliveries, and they lost in a losing cause. In the second one, they won, which I remember he was not out, chased it down for Gujarat. Third one, he got off to a decent start, got out. Same with this kind of final. I think that's happened. In the World Cup final a few years ago, he struggled. In the Asia Cup final last year. I just want to see Shubman Gill take that step up, like we saw Kohli do in the final.
Yeah.
You know, take that step in the final, and take your team to victory. And I think that's what he needs to now learn, especially now that he's captain of the national team. He needs to say, you know what, especially in this final, I'm the main batsman here. Come bat around me. That's what he needs to do going forward. But as I said, he's still a young player. He's an outstanding batsman. That's the one thing I just think he needs to work on.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, this Gujarat team, it does revolve around him, at the top two in particular. So
absolutely.
He definitely does need to be the man and step up. And I feel like Gujarat, they'll be back. I mean, regardless of whatever changes they do make, I just feel like the consistency and the talent of this side in general, it's enough to get them playoffs again. It should be anyway. But after all that, Gujarat just fall short and still haven't won since their debut season in 2022. And after the playoffs, it's RCB who can say they're now two-time champions, which it's got a nice ring to it. It's got a nice ring to it, having a bit of separation. Still got a long way to go to get to sort of what KKR, Chennai, Mumbai, but hey, there's years ahead. There's years ahead to go.
Yeah.
But I'll find, just to end off then, I do want to get your team of the tournament. As we mentioned, there's some of the stars who've lit up this tournament and some of the performances across the season. Can only choose 11. So yeah, let's just go for it. I think we'll just go in order. We'll start with your two openers.
Well, I just want to clarify before this. I'm following IPL, so I'm picking 4 overseas players only, and 2.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Yeah,
and 2, I'm not picking an impact sub because I still don't like the rule. I don't like it at all.
Fair enough.
So I'm not picking an impact sub, and I'm only going 4 overseas. I think the first opener is pretty self-explanatory, in my opinion. I'm gonna just about go with Vaibhav Suryavanshi. I mean, it's been an all right season. He's been okay. Yeah. Only 776 runs, a strike rate of 237, and he's averaging 48. So, yeah, I think that's fair enough. Go with Vaibhav Suryavanshi. I'm assuming you've got him in as well. So, who do I open alongside him? I mean, it's tough because I think obviously Gill's had an outstanding tournament. Sudarshan's had an outstanding tournament. Abhishek has had a top tournament for Sunrisers, but again, might be biased, but I just think the way Kohli played in the final, the quality he's shown all season, the way he's changed his batting being a lot more aggressive, I'm going to go with Virat Kohli opening alongside Suryavanshi.
No, I think that's fair. I think, especially if it's a one-off match, I'm picking Kohli every time.
Yeah.
But I am judging it based off the season, and as you mentioned, Vaibhav Suryavanshi has to be there. Like, it's non-negotiable. Yeah. But I am going with Abhishek only because I just want to see that be for India one day. But not only that, but yeah, as you mentioned, Gill, Sudarshan, I don't know. As reliable as they are, I don't see them firing as often as like an Abhishek. And Abhishek has had a good season. He did sort of tail off towards the end, but I feel like when SRH had that uptick, it came through him and Ishan in particular.
I mean, yeah, strike rate of 204 for Abhishek.
Oh yeah.
I mean, compared to Suryavanshi, that's amateur, but still an outstanding. It's still like had a great tournament, Abhishek. So it's fair enough. It's understandable.
Yeah, we'll go 3, 4, 5 next. So sort of rounding off that top and then getting onto that middle order. I've got Ishan Kishan, in fact, as number 3. He's been sensational, especially stepping up as captain and before Pat Cummins came in, and then sort of not losing that touch with the bat that we saw all season. And then I know it's bittersweet, but I've got Shreyas Iyer's Punjab, especially I think when they were winning early on. I thought he did really well with the bat, and he stood as captain, and he did get that 100 as well, sure. Which for Shreyas is really good. And number 5, I've got Rajat Patidar. I mean, he's going to be my captain. Probably batting maybe a bit out of position, but I've just had to sneak him in there. And I feel like it's weird because I've got top 5 All Indian, but I feel like it's probably a good 5 selection he could have.
Yeah. Number 3 was an interesting one because I had a choice of a couple of players. I think Jurel has had a great season at Rajasthan. I think Padikaw's had a top season at RCB. And I was really considering going with Padikal. But I mean, Ishan Kishan's numbers: 600 runs, strike rate 182. It's got to be him. So 3. 4's a tough one because I was thinking the entire time I was gonna go with Shreyas, but I didn't actually realize what a tournament Patidar actually had.
Yeah.
501 runs at a strike rate of 192. You know,
it doesn't even feel like he's like had a standout until that qualifier one game. Yeah, he's just been going about his business.
Yeah, because usually the thing with Patidar is he plays aggressively, but it's kind of like you expect usually between 300 to 400 runs a season from him because he plays aggressively, but he does get out like quite a bit trying to play aggressively. There's nothing wrong with that, but I didn't expect a 500-run season. I did not expect that at all. So, yeah, it kind of has to be him by default just for the season that he's had. And number 5 is my first overseas option. 600 runs, 624 runs, strike rate of 160, managing that SRH team. I got to have Klaassen in there. Henrik Klaassen's been sensational with the bat. So yeah, him at 5. So my top 5 is Suryavanshi, Kohli, Ishan Kishan, Patidar, and Klaassen.
It's strange because my number 6 is Klaassen. So yeah, I've probably gone a bit too top heavy with the batting, but yeah, regardless, it's still a good top 6 we have. And I'll go with my number 7, number 8 as the sort of 2 all-rounders and getting onto the bowlers. I've got Donovan Ferreira, excellent season finishing for Rajasthan. And then I think we will agree on this. I've got Krunal Pandya as well. I think I've changed mine last minute, but I've got Krunal at number 8. Again, he's been instrumental, and some of the knocks he's played to get RCB to desired totals and desired targets as well.
Yeah, Krunal's not a debate for me. Everybody should have Krunal Pandya in their team.
Yeah,
because with the ball, I mean, he's been outstanding, and especially with the bat. I mean, last year the one criticism you'd say he took nearly 20 wickets last year, but he didn't bat that much. Whereas this year, I mean, every time RCB's been in trouble, especially with the bat, they just send Krunal in, and he's done such an incredible job. So yeah, Krunal's no argument. I've got him at 7, and number 6 is a tough one because I needed a seam bowling all-rounder, and particularly an Indian one, and there's none. There's absolutely none. And I think that's because the impact sub rule is just completely neutered all-rounders, which is a shame.
Nitish Kumar Reddy's rogue show.
That's
the only one.
That's why I've gone with Nitish Reddy at 6, because over 300 runs, pretty good strike rate. And with the ball, I mean, he's bowled a lot more than he did last year, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And he's bowled in different situations. So Nitish Reddy is the only option for me at number 6 for a seam bowler and all-rounder, because other players like Hardik have been terrible. So, yeah, it has to be Nitish Reddy at 6.
No, I definitely like that option.
And then Krunal Pandya at 7, obviously.
Yeah. Who's your number 8 again, sorry? And then we'll get on to the 3 bowlers.
Oh, yeah, number 8. Number 8's my overseas spinner.
Okay.
Because I didn't want to use this. I didn't want to use an overseas option on a spinner, but I had to because this has been the worst year for leg spin bowling, especially Indian leg spin bowling in the
strange.
IPL. No Indian leg spin has been great this year.
No.
So I could choose either between Sunil Narayan or Rashid Khan, and Rashid Khan's taken more wickets, but I didn't realise this. Narayan's economy rate is 6.65.
Oh yeah,
I didn't even realise that. I didn't even realize. So purely for that economy rate, I've gone with Narayan. That's unbelievable. So yeah, Narayan's 8 for me. Sunil Narayan's 8.
Yeah, I like that shout. And then we'll end off with the 3 paces. I think we'll agree again, but I'll just say I think it's the top 3 wicket takers. I've got Jofra Archer, Kagiso Rabada, and Bhuvneshwar Kumar at number 11. Assuming you got the same.
I've got I've got Jofra Archer 9. I've got Bhuvi at 10 just for that 6 that he hit against Mumbai.
Yeah.
And then Rabada's at 11. But yeah,
whoever is at 11 can still strike the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, those 3, they've been the 3 by far and away the 3 best pace bowlers.
Definitely.
This has been, it's been a decent year for a lot of pace bowlers.
Definitely, yeah. But, in terms of the leaderboard for the purple cap as well.
Yeah, but those 3 have just been like by far and away the best bowlers. They've been absolutely remarkable. And I think we both built very, very good teams. But
maybe with the batting there's a few debates, but overall the personnel in particular is really good.
Absolutely.
Right, just a few more then, and then I'll let you go. First off, innings of the season. I'll go first just to set the tone. I'm going to say Suryavanshi against SRH in Jaipur, I think it was.
Yeah.
The league game.
The 100?
Yeah, the 100.
Oh, I thought you were going to go for the 97.
I mean, there's a lot to pick with this guy. But
true.
But I just think, especially when the pressure was on, I just think he's always delivered. And he almost I just wanted him to get 100 in the playoffs. Well, it is what it is.
I mean, Patidal's 100 against GT. It's hard to top that. Just for what it was.
Yeah, and then captain's knock.
I mean, also, I remember the start. Tim Davis' knock against CSK, 70 off 25 when he hit that ball at the stadium.
Yep.
The worst knock of the year has, on the subject of Suryavanshi. The worst knock, like the one that personally affected me, was his innings against us when he hit about 60 off about 20, and like he just swatted us around, and I was sitting there just praying this would end.
Yeah.
So that's my worst innings of the season, even though it's an unbelievable innings. But innings of the season, I'm going to go with Tim Davids against CSK.
No, I like that. So it's an underrated shout, I think, given that it was so early on in the season. I'm only saying this, but catch of the season, I think it's Shreyas Iyer against Mumbai. If you want to give one, if you remember.
Oh God, if I remember a catch, I can't remember any because there's been so many drops.
Away and had to say it.
Yeah, there's been so many drops this season.
Don't say that to the Punjab stuff.
Yeah, true. Oh my God, Punjab.
What could have been?
Nah, catch of the season for me.
Think of the first one that comes to your head, like one good one.
Yeah, Manish Pandey's catch versus us.
How good is he? By the way,
that's one of the best catches I've ever seen. Just like the way, as soon as he hit it, I was like, 4. And then I looked, and then I blinked, and then the ball's in his hand. I was like, how the hell's he caught that? Yeah, he's a freak athlete, Manish Pandey. So that has to be catch of the tournament for me.
I never want to do this, but we'll end on this. Which player would you say has been flop of the tournament? Be harsh as you want.
Oh God.
I know it's never easy. To be fair, I'm struggling between a few, but I'll let you go first whilst I'm still thinking.
I've got 3 in my mind. It's the bottom 2 teams, ironically.
I was going there as well.
I don't know if... I mean, Bumrah's a very strong shout for this, right?
Because by standards, we could argue it, but...
He's taken 4 wickets in 13 games. That's
actually nearly maybe
for Bumrah's standards, that's pretty abysmal. But the 2 main ones for me, ironically, the 2 captains of the 2 teams, Hardik and Rishabh.
Yeah,
they've both been. And I said at the start of the season, Hardik was going to be the most important reason why Mumbai won the IPL, because not just for his captaincy, but just as a player as well, because he'll bowl 4 overs and bat for them. Hardik's been really poor in this tournament, and then Rishabh, on the other hand, first of all, they've not found a settled position for him. No. And second of all, he's just not contributed anything with the bat. You know, his best contribution probably was at the start of the tournament against SRH, where he hit 60 off about 50. And then I think he hit like a 31 off 10 against us. But so yeah, I'll go for those 2 for flop of the tournament. And Romario Shepherd as well, but I have to go.
He's a champion, by the way.
No, yeah. I love Romario. But yeah, I'll go Panto Pandya.
Yeah, I was gonna go with Nicholas Puran for Lucknow.
Yeah, I was thinking Puran as well.
I feel like it's a bit too obvious, but I just feel like you have to point out he's just been struggling. It's just like, I don't know where some of these bottom teams, where they're gonna go, and it's weird because they have these star-studded players, but you flop, and it shows.
Yeah, no, Puran's a strong shout. Shout. He's been a shadow of himself in this tournament.
Yeah, I think that's gonna do it then. Unless you want to add anything to round off these multiple episodes of this IPL 2026 recap.
Isala Cup Namdu.
There we go. That's a good way to end it. RCB are your champions for the 2026 season. For us, that will do it for the IPL season. Hopefully we'll be back next year, but we've got plenty more cricket to come. We've got the English summer. We've got international cricket back on the cards. Me and Dejan will be here to take you through it all. Once again, many thanks, Dejan, for hopping on. A happy Dejan after RCB lifting the champions once again. Be sure to check out Sports News Blitz on our YouTube and our Spotify, and to check out our Sports News Blitz website. That's it. It's been me and Dejan, and we'll see you next time.